Well, here we go again, guys, up against Qatar SC today. We're still looking for our first win of the season. We've had two draws, two defeats. However, in our favor, we have actually played fairly well in those matches, I would say, despite the fact that we've had so much turnover at the club. So I do have my hopes up that things are going to turn around. We're in 19th place with 2 points after 4 matches, which isn't great. Qatar SC are in 2nd place. So, I mean, getting a result here would be really, really big, even if only a draw. Let's see what we can do here in this match. And it is going to be Qatar, of course, who kick this one off. Yeah, we'll see what we can do here and see what we can figure out. And it's Itae-suk who is unable to win that ball away, unfortunately. Then we've moved ahead a little bit in the highlights. Looks like they're controlling, at least here in the beginning. Baek Jong-boom tried to save that one from Javier Pastore, but that was just hit too hard for him. And that makes it quickly 1-0 for Qatar. And that was not the best goalkeeping job I think I've ever seen. You'll remember in our initial roundup for our initial attempt at this Seoul save that Baek Jong-boom didn't last long. I'm not sure how much longer he's going to last in this one either. The problem that we have with this, though, is we don't exactly have like a 15-year-old goalkeeper who's really good. We have a bunch of goalkeepers who are also not very good, so it doesn't make that much sense at the moment to take him out. Itae-suk passes this one for him. We're looking for Akame. Akame's fast, but he's not that fast. I mean, he would have to like have teleported himself to be able to get that. Simtae, who's not really match fit, did a great job there winning that one away, but unfortunately we've given the ball straight back. And this is looking pretty bad. Sebastian, and fortunately his shot is off line, and so we've managed to hold on for the time being, but this doesn't look very good for us from any stretch of the imagination. Down 1-0, and it looks like they're about to score again. And I hate to say this, but we may have to get used to the idea of us being laughing stocks, at least here in the beginning part of the season, until we can get guys to figure out what it is that we're doing and how we're playing. We do have good players. I would argue that despite the fact that a lot of these guys are young, that we have a number of really, really good, talented players who have a really good amount of potential, but we're having a hard time just playing together. And of course, it's dangerous here to pass around the back. Kuka again, looking for Akame, and again, he's fast, but not that fast. So Jamin passes this forward. There is Akame. That's how he uses his speed. His shot, however, doesn't have too much on it, and it ends up being easily blocked by their keeper. But we could use a little bit more of this. So Jamin with a great, great job knocking that one forward for Akame, who's easily behind the defense. And so let's see if we can get a little bit more of that going on here. Here's a throw from Oh Min-kyu, looking for Lanari and cannot quite find him. It's Nkuka again, up to Dreyer. Back to Simtae, and it goes forward to So Jamin, who does not get behind the defense. I thought he was going to for a second, and he was obstructed by another player. But we are finally attacking, which is what we like to see. Nkuka with the ball again, passes down to Oh Min-kyu. Back to Nkuka. Nkuka forward, looking for So Jamin, and again, he's just not that fast. That's the problem, and Nkuka can't quite win that. Oh Min-kyu tries to win the ball back, and then Nkuka is the one who wins it in the end. It's over to So Jamin, and then up to Davies, and here is Davies with the shot, and the score is the real Davies with his first goal of the season, and that makes it 1-1. So he gets his first goal for the team, and hey, we have come back, and we've drawn this match. Even though it looked really, really bad in the early going, Davies does a great job faking out the player around him, and he gets that angle so well. He does such a good job in just hitting that one to the back of the net. Pretty good from the Segundo Volante, who shows that he can make his runs as well. And it's 1-1 here in the early going. So we'll see what happens here in the near future of this match. It's Park Sang-hoon, whose name is written Pike. This is one of the errors that keeps cropping up among Korean players. He was injured for a while, and I think this is his first match for the team. Al-Saadi ends up scoring that one, but perhaps he was offside. I don't know. We're going to take a look and see what the ref has to say about this. And here comes the verdict back. Now they're going to give it. So we tied the match, and then we gave this away right away. And this was just a really, really poor job. Who is this who's beaten over here on the side? It's Itae-suk. How I should have known, of course, as I've said before, it tends to be the Korean players on this team who seem to just give up. And yeah, I mean, there was kind of an argument for offside, but Lee Tae-suk should have played his man instead of just giving up like that. That's not what we want to see. Oh Min-kyu passes this all the way back to Baek Jong-bum, goes up to Dreyer over to Lanari, over to Park, to Lee Tae-suk. Lee Tae-suk forward to Davies, who almost had a second. That was deflected back out, so that's not bad at all. And now it's time for a corner. Now I kind of hope that I put the right guys in the right place for the corner. Let's see what happens. And, well, that didn't result in much of anything at all. And Simtae does win the ball back, though, over to Dreyer. Dreyer over to Park Sang-hoon, over to Lee Tae-suk. Lee Tae-suk, and you can see we got the momentum back on our side. But unfortunately, we're not able to thread that one nicely enough. Dreyer goes back and gets it, and so that's the end of that. But this was a good idea. Lee Tae-suk with the ball in a pretty good position, but once again, he makes a little bit of a mistake. Davies got the ball in an okay position, but we could have had a better pass than that. And here's Pastore, who almost scores again. So remains 2-1 for Qatar, and let's try to get this ball out of the danger area, and it's Baek Jong-bum who ends up grabbing that one, and now let's move to the other side of the pitch and try to make something happen. We have a number of really poor performances here. Lee Tae-suk, however, for his in his favor, I will say, does have a 7.1 rating, which is pretty good. But yeah, this looks pretty bad so far, and we're going to have to make a couple changes. I mean, Simtae is just having an awful match. And hold on for a second. Well, sorry about that. We're trying to get the water fixed up here at our home. As you can see here, we're going to make 4 changes here coming into the second half and see if that helps things out a little bit. I do want to hold off before I get too upset at these players. I mean, we have one guy who's playing poorly. We knew that he was going to be tired anyway. So we're going to try not to be too dictatorial about all of this because we don't want the morale to completely fall apart. And we're actually not doing that poorly. So Jae-min over to Kim Jin-ya. Kim up to Uday Buzbor up to Michael, I think is what we're going to end up calling him. And unfortunately, he was a little bit offline. Michael, by the way, there comes from Ingolstadt. So we have the thankfully, that was over the top of the goal. We have sort of a full cycle here of everything that's been featured on this channel, which is not a nice or not a bad way of going about this team. We'll have a little bit of somebody from everybody. Unfortunately, Michael's a little bit too slow to get to that. I'm not sure what that pass was supposed to be. He looked like he was a little bit surprised by that himself. And so we're still trying to do our best. Nikoka does a good job winning 2 headers in a row. So Jae-min can't get to that. Kim Jin-ya, though, does over to So Jae-min again. And here is the cross, and Michael's header is over the top of everything and ends up being a goal kick. But again, that wasn't bad, right? I think in times like this, you kind of have to look for the positive in some of these things, and we definitely found it there. Here's Pafundi with the ball, and he's got a couple of guys around him. Pafundi takes this himself over to Park Sang-hoon. Park Sang-hoon up to Michael, who has a shot, and that ends up being deflected, I suppose, by somebody. That's one of those where I think there was probably a little bit of a glitch in how the animation worked, because the person who got his way in front of the ball looked like he was nowhere near it. But let's take another look at this and see. So there was Park Sang-hoon. Good pass over here to Michael, and no, there it is. There was a guy kind of there. I guess his knee was somewhere in front of the ball. I will give you the benefit of the doubt, I guess, but it looked a little bit weird in terms of the animation. Baek Jong-bum with a good save, and here comes another corner for Qatar SC. So we're doing the best that we can here to just stay afloat, and I'm not sure how well this is going to work. Baek Jong-bum ends up grabbing that, and so it's still 2-1 as we grab the ball and try to get the momentum back on our side. Not a good match from Simtae. Everybody else, though, seems to be doing all right. Lee Tae-suk here with the corner, looking near post over to Nikuka, and unfortunately his header is just not quite online. One of these days, those are going to start falling. He had a real good position and looked like he was going to be able to cause some problems with that. And here's just Real Davies, who has become injured, and that's a problem. We're going to put Nathan on for him. That is potentially a major issue, so we'll see what happens. That's the final substitution that we have. Hopefully nobody else will get hurt, and so it's kind of a shame. He ends up with a goal and ends up only with a 6.8 rating, and here's another injury. So we're going to have to simply go with 10 men. That's the only choice that we have at this point. And that's not looking so great for us. Nkuka with it. You figure you want to keep at least one substitution back, but it's kind of hard to keep two. Here's Nathan with the interception over to So Jamin, and his shot is up and over everyone's head and ends up being completely wasted. I mean, you figure you want to keep one substitution back, but getting two guys off with injuries like that is kind of a hard nut to crack. So Jamie forward to Pafundi, and we have another attempt on goal. And Andrea Pafundi has scored his first goal of the season. How about that? So that comes from just out of nowhere. That ties this match at 2. And as I said in the lead up to this, if we can get a draw here, that is a big victory for us. That's the sort of thing that we really want to see. Pafundi does a great job. Just goes straight through the keeper, and nothing can stop him. 2-2 now the match. And we have just a couple minutes, about 10 minutes maybe with a little bit of change left. And let's see not only if we can hold on, but maybe we can sneak another one past them. And Beck Jomboom is able to prevent that free kick from going in with a desperation save at the last minute. There is a bit of time remaining, but I'm not sure if we can do much with it. So Jamie wins this one and then knocks it all the way down. Of course, and nothing comes of it. Here's another shot on goal by them, and that fortunately is off the top of the crossbar. So it's fortunate for us that that one doesn't go in. 6 minutes of injury time thanks to the two major injuries that we've suffered in this match. And that does not bode very well for us. Hopefully these guys won't be out for too long. Pafundi wins this. Looking for Michael, can't quite find him. And yeah, this is going to be problematic. And fortunately, Al-Sadi's header is up and above everybody's head. And so it's just a couple of minutes left. If we can just hold on a little bit longer, we'll be okay. And here's Hassan with another attempt. Ite kind of shoves him out of the way. There's no call, and that is it. 2-2 the final score. The draw here is good as a victory, really, as far as we're concerned. We had a 1.63 XG. That's not bad for a match in which we had no business even trying to win. I think we played pretty well in this one. Love to know what you think about that. We'll leave that for now. I'll talk with you tomorrow. Bye-bye.